Have you always wanted to start your own business? Do you have an innovative idea or an invention, but just don't know how to turn it into a company? Are you already in business and need some help growing? The BRF's Entrepreneurial Accelerator Program can help. At EAP, we work alongside you, helping you with things like financial modeling, funding strategy, pitch preparation, and marketing strategy. So what are you waiting for? Go to eapla.com today and set up a time to talk with our team. Let EAP help you launch or grow your business in North Louisiana today.
Welcome back to On the Cusp. I got my co-host Matt Snyder with me, and today we've got Ashley Rockett from Shear Technology.
Yep.
Ashley, now you're from Shreveport, right?
Yeah, born and raised, and I went to college here as well.
And then where'd you go after that?
I left here and I went to work for Ernst & Young in Washington, D.C. on Capitol Hill. Don't fall asleep, but I did an audit for the U.S. House of Representatives. And when I moved there was a blizzard, and the snow was probably up to my waist, and the most snow you see in Shreveport is a light dusting, about that much, or some ice. About 48 hours later, I was ready to come back home and come back to where we have warm winters.
Now, you have Shear Technologies, a consulting service company, right here in Shreveport.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about Shear.
Well, I lasted about 6 months in the audit world. I'm a little bit too much of an extrovert to sit there with a pencil and paper and check marks. And
That you are.
things of that nature. And I went into consulting with Ernst & Young. And I traveled kind of all over the U.S. I went to Austin, back to D.C. a couple of times, just doing consulting work mainly around software. So, 2000s, right? We've all got to get new software in, and there's an urgency, and the young kids do all the grunt work, and you roll your sleeves up and you get it done. And so I did consulting for about 15 years away from Shreveport, and then moved back here in 2009.
Okay. Well, that's a lot of people don't realize that you have a national consulting firm.
Yeah, it's really interesting to be based at home, where it feels like an old, kind of comfortable sweatshirt. You know where the holes are. You know which grocery store you're going to walk into if you're going to see people, or what restaurants if you want to be seen. Those kind of things. But to actually grow a consulting business here, especially as a female business owner, and touch companies like MetLife and Toyota and things of that nature has really been an amazing experience over the last 15 years.
I'll bet you got some good stories to tell about being a woman-owned business in that male-dominated consulting field.
We opened in 2010, and there were a lot of companies in Shreveport that did consulting services, but not purely consulting. And we're just purely consulting. We do business consulting and IT consulting. And I was very fortunate when I leaped off the springboard that I had a phenomenal partner that took a leap of faith with me. And she's probably 5'4" and has really curly hair. I'm much taller and have straight hair. So we would walk into meetings and we'd be like this with straight hair and curly hair. But we were just this amazing team. And it was very interesting to be women in a room trying to sell you consulting services. First, explaining to you why you would even need consulting services. And second of all, that we could actually do that. One of our first clients was a CPA firm here who was going into mineral management. And they said, we want that software. And we said, why? And he said, because everybody else has it. Okay, well, you're not like everybody else. So what do you really need to make your business work? So that was one of our first engagements in Shreveport, and then our first big project was actually in Gretna, New Orleans. Yeah, so we've traveled around a lot.
It's
but
very
always based
cool
here.
to me, and we don't talk about it, and I don't think I've ever heard anybody really talk about it. The value there is with having locally owned companies that are engaging with the world and the nation and bringing what they're seeing and those ideas back home.
Yes, for sure.
Like I think we get in. I won't say it's a bad thing about our area, but I think we have to have the influence of other places making it into our businesses, and what you're doing, you're definitely seeing what's happening.
Well, I think the other thing is too, growing up here, we were always what I would call a shingles and widget town, right? You either hang your shingle out because you're a doctor and a lawyer and your family has been one all your life, or your widget is construction, and my family had 4 generations of construction. So there was a piece of it that was creating a new industry within our market, and then
that's cool.
obviously, bringing things back that we learned from different clients and things of that nature.
Well, I think that's one of the key things that we really need in Shreveport. We need a really diverse economy here. All right. We need, national consulting firms headquarters out of here. We need manufacturing. We need oil and gas. We need all of it. And the more diverse we are, the better off we are.
Yeah,
Okay?
I agree. And I think the more that we would end up keeping the younger population.
Absolutely.
Me too.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Me
think I
too.
graduated and was out of here
Yeah,
in
you
like
and I both
4
have
days.
daughters.
Right.
We both have daughters, okay, in college, and we want there to be jobs here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
We want them to come home.
I want to have grandbabies here.
Right.
Me too.
Right? You
Me
know?
too. I don't say that around them. I hope they don't. Okay.
No time soon.
No time soon. Okay.
Sure.
But and I'll be honest with you. That's why I left DC to come home. Okay. When Dr. George made this opportunity available, I had the corner office, in downtown DC. All right. I said, I can stay here and raise my daughters in this big city, or I can move home to Louisiana, where my
Yeah.
wife's family and my family is, and I want that. It didn't even take us, I'll tell you, it didn't even take us 2 minutes to decide that's a better deal.
It's a very interesting time because I think more of our kids are going to have the choice of working for companies outside of the area from
Right.
here
Yep.
than any of us did or anybody our age. I think you're going to be able to do more national work out of Shreveport if you want to.
Well, I mean, COVID changed the game.
Right.
Right.
It did.
So
It opened a
now-
lot of doors.
It
So
did.
now, Dave, the culture of wanting to live here and the values of Shreveport has at the size we are, the traffic thing we always talk about, the quality of life with a family.
Right.
I think, if we continue to lean on that, we have unique advantages.
Somebody asked me very early on, why I wanted to open a business rather than just working for an established company already here. And I said it all the time. I wanted to be a mom that worked rather than somebody who worked and had a family on the side.
Yeah.
And, this community, if my daughter had a play at 1:30 on a Wednesday, nobody's going to say don't go to the play. Unless there's something
Right.
really urgent, but that's very rare because we have such a sense of community and such
Right.
a sense of investing in our people and just, 5 other people that I might have worked with for that client might have had a child in the same place. So that was a really important part of it to do. And also to show my daughter that you can work as a female with a new idea in a community, and not necessarily that you can have it all because nobody can give 150% to everything,
Right.
but you can develop a work-life balance.
So we always talk about what's good for Shreveport, and then we also talk about being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Like, I think about this, like, could you go back to working for somebody? Like, right now, if it was like this opportunity, like 9 to 5, like, I don't think I could, right?
I took a 2-year hiatus from consulting, and I went to work with what is now GDIT, and I ran the Information Technology Center for the first 2 years. And it was something that I was really passionate about because, again, it's bringing a new industry to our area.
Right.
Kids from tech will move back here after school. They have something to do. It's a different industry. So if I was passionate about it,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. But my brain no
That's a
longer
great
thinks
answer.
from 8 to noon and then from 1 to 5.
That's the part.
Yes.
Right?
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
of course I
But
can go
all-
do work
but-
for a
Right.
boss, but like,
Really, all industries have changed like that.
They have.
If you think you can go in and work 9 to 5 now, okay, I want to know what that job is, okay? Because that's not the way it works for me,
Yeah.
okay? I drive 45 minutes to Plain Dealing, and I'll guarantee you on my way home, I've made 3 phone calls or 3 people have called me.
that's
All right.
the part of owning your own business that people don't talk about.
Right.
They always talk about the freedom. Oh, Matt, I saw you jogging at 10 a.m.
That's 'cause I started
did
at
you see
5:30.
me at- Yeah.
Yeah, did you
10 p.m. picking up
Yep.
trash in Providence.
Yeah, they don't. They
Right.
don't see
They
that.
do not see that part, but that's funny. I love that.
But it is the flexibility of, okay, I'm going to work a 10 or 11-hour day, but I'm going to take those 2 hours in the middle of the
the
day.
freedom's the best.
Yeah,
I mean,
to
it is.
go-
I would
It
tell
is.
any.
Yeah.
So what do we got to do to get more people to launch businesses in Shreveport?
I think it's an understanding of what the community has to offer. I really do. And I think because we're above I-10, I don't think we're always given the consideration that we need to be given in order to attract businesses here. There's something to be said for the fact that you can get anywhere in 15 minutes. I mean, when I lived in Dallas, I probably spent 2.5 hours a day in traffic, where my 6-month-old child, was with a nanny or a babysitter,
Right.
and that's just time you can't get back.
No.
I'm
Yeah.
working on a new project of laying artificial turf. And so we went with this group in Dallas that's teaching us, and we're going from job to job. And their guys every day average an hour drive from their office to their job, then launches a whole situation, and then an hour back to their office. And we're like, wait a minute, we're going to have 2 more hours of working on the job, probably an hour and 40, that we're not paying guys to drive around in traffic.
Right.
I mean, that is a big advantage.
Yeah, and I think the other big advantage is knowing people, right? If anything that would happen in life or in business, I've got 5 people I could call
Right.
immediately, whether it's on the personal side or the business side. And I think that's more about us as a community and how we support each other. And I think those are the things that we need to communicate out, and that we're more
Right.
than a shingles and
I
widgets
always
town.
tell people all the time, Shreveport is the smallest big town you're ever gonna live in.
Yeah.
That's the
Because
unique
I
thing.
guarantee you, if you need something, either you know them, or I know them, and we can get to them.
Yeah.
That is the thing I struggle with a little bit, because we are like just big enough to be a big city in a way, to be a
Right.
city.
Third
but
largest
we're
city in Louisiana.
But we're small enough to be real small at times. And like, I think I could make arguments of that being a big plus for us.
Sure.
I think I could make arguments of that being a real reason for a lot of our struggles. So that's like an interesting thing to unpack.
I got another
that we
struggle.
might
I
need to-
want to get your perspective
Okay.
on that. And a lot of times, I'll go to economic development meetings, or I'll go to a meeting in Baton Rouge or New Orleans, and I'll look around and I'll go, well, wait a minute. I'm the only guy or gal here from Shreveport, Ruston, Monroe. What's wrong with this picture? A lot of times, we don't participate. Okay, it's just too
Right.
far.
I'm in the current Leadership Louisiana class. We finished in January, and there are 2 people from Shreveport and 1 person from Alec, and everybody is,
South of I-10.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
said it, and that's what made
Yeah.
me think about it. Everybody was south of I-10, and I understand. Because I've told my crew, I'd love to participate in Louisiana leadership. Cable runs it. It's a great opportunity. I just can't give up that time, but they can, and I want them to do it. And I know you were in that.
Well,
in
but
that
I think
class.
a lot of that is also our responsibility, right? So I have a huge responsibility to nominate as many people as I could from this area for the next class and the next class.
Oh, cool.
And I think sometimes that's where we perhaps miss that being involvement, because the people that run the program have said, give me more people from North Louisiana, point us in the right direction. So I think that's a responsibility that we have to really give
Yeah,
back to
for
the
sure.
community.
That is a great
and identify those
observation.
leaders.
I think we
of-
should.
Yeah.
I think if we don't participate, if we're not willing to go south and be in the meeting in Baton Rouge or
Yeah.
be in the meeting in Lafayette, okay? It's not that those people down there are sitting around going, we're not going to do business in Shreveport.
Yeah.
Because if they can make money, they're going to come to Shreveport.
And when you go down there, be cool. Like, I went down there with some group of people, and all the south of I-10 or,
Right.
Shreveport people, they're difficult. And then I'm watching them be difficult. And I'm going, come on, I'm trying to win these people over. Be cool when you're down there.
Well, I agree. I think we got to participate.
Yeah.
Now, I ask everybody this question.
Okay.
So, what as a community are we doing right?
I think what we're doing right as a community, I don't know, it sounds strange. I think we really take care of each other. At least the people that I know that I'm connected to from a professional perspective, and all, I mean, a personal perspective is a given, but mainly from a professional perspective. And it was really intimidating to walk into Shreveport, Louisiana. I'd been gone for 13 years. I was raised here. My grandfather, generational business, to walk into a peer of my father's and say, hey, I want to sell you consulting services. It's very intimidating. Yeah. But those first 4 or 5 people that we connected with we sold business to all 5 of them, and they were people that I'd known through childhood that all of a sudden said, "Oh, you're not 6, you're a professional."
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's just that taking care and giving back and
That is
really,
Yeah.
letting me jump off the springboard. My grandfather was hands down my biggest advocate when I started my business. And, for that generation who still had some people working, 15 years
Right.
ago, that was a big piece of it. And to me, that's what I've seen is the piece that we're doing well. We're not going to stop anyone from succeeding. Somebody might get in their
Yep.
own way,
Right.
but we're not going to absolutely stop someone from moving forward.
That is so great. Now, I got to tell a story though on you.
Oh, no.
Because you
Right.
and I
Go,
tell
Dave.
people all the time, she's the hostess with the mostest because you do the Shreveport Bossier host group for Washington Mardi Gras. On top of your family, your full-time job, you can throw a party.
It is the best voluntold job my husband ever gave me. 100%.
That's where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
I wanted to know how you got that job. Okay.
Well, actually, my grandparents ran the Shreveport Bossier host group for about 15 years. And then they passed it to Don and Mary Updegraff, and Reagan and Margaret Green had it most recently. And, with what Rocky does for the community and kind of some of that sentimental, I'm probably the only person on the planet that's sentimental about Washington Mardi Gras, but I just have so many positive memories about my grandparents and, things like that it just kind of
just
fell
a
into our
natural
lap.
flow for you just to
awesome.
flow into it.
Yeah.
Well, you're doing an incredible job.
Thanks.
And I heard, and we can edit this if we have to, but I heard that we got 155 people from Shreveport Bossier going this year.
Yeah, we do. So in 2019, I think we were at like 92 people from Shreveport Bossier, and now we have 155 tickets because
That
I
is-
can't do anything on the small scale, right?
Right,
I
absolutely.
got to do it big.
Absolutely.
But I think the most important thing for our region at that event has been the party that we started on Thursday nights. And, nobody, again, we're not below I-10,
That's
we're
right.
not well known. And we've become
And now
kind of this-
everybody wants to go to your party.
Yeah, the suite to go to and
the suite to
and
go
the
to.
disco
But I
party.
look at Washington Mardi Gras. It's the only place you're going to be with all of the Louisiana businesses
Mm-hmm.
together, in one place, and highlight our community.
Yes.
That's it. It's the only place you're going to go.
And the one-to-one contact, I mean, you can be standing, now he's the Speaker of the House now, so we're probably not going to be able to get as close to him as we would have perhaps last year, but you could walk into Mike's suite and have a conversation with him
Absolutely.
for 5 minutes and then follow up with his chief of staff 2 weeks later, and it would have cost you hundreds of $1,000s in lobbying, perhaps to even to get to that point of communication. And that's really how it was established.
Yep.
And hopefully we're bringing some of that back and also highlighting our community, our skill sets, our government officials, things like that, which is
Yep.
really important.
I think
for our
it's very
community.
important because it shows Shreveport to the rest of Louisiana in a very different light.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
because of you and what you've done with
Well,
it.
and Rocky Rockett, too.
Yeah, I understand. But you guys are a team.
We are.
And we greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
It's
well, thanks
fun.
for coming today.
Sure.
That was awesome.
Ah, thank you.